Okay, it is as I'm trying to explain something that you need to see, because I'm not that good at explaining that. So this session is about how to move from an old platform like Solr 1 to Elasticsearch, right? So we, in the past, I'm working for Alfresco. Alfresco is, you know me from the booth. So we are building a content management solution, and we are adding also some searching capabilities to that. So the thing is that we started in 2005. So we are providing searching from that time. And like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we stop it and say, okay, we are not able to maintain this anymore. So we started a project to switch to Elasticsearch or OpenSearch, right? At the moment, OpenSearch didn't exist. So we started with Elasticsearch, and then we moved to OpenSearch. Okay, so this was like the original architecture. So we have a repository with documents, metadata, and so on. And then we are doing the classical searching with our REST API. That's nothing changed from that. But we were creating also a wrapper of Solr. So our code was living alone with the Solr code. That's not a good idea, I have to say. OK, that's one thing we have. So you can see the search service with the Solr on it. The second thing is that we wanted to get some metadata from the repository to get Solr indexed. So we thought at that time, remember 2010, we thought that the best idea should be just to create a pooling mechanism. So we were invoking the repository via REST API, getting the data, and populating the Solr index. And the same thing for the models, because we are using dynamic mapping. So the users can create the model on the Alfresco side. So we have 2 polling requests to get all the information and to populate the Solr index. So this is what we had at the beginning. And obviously, what we learned from that is that the polling mechanism is not that good, because once the document and the metadata is available for the user, then you have a time to get the right indexing on Solr, because you need to execute this polling like every 10 seconds, every 1 second, it doesn't matter. So the document takes 3 seconds, something like that, to be available for searching. The second one, obviously, is that to include your code inside or outside the Solr code or any other product is not a good idea, because every time that is evolving, that is upgrading, then you need to upgrade also your code. And you need to maintain also different version of your code together with the original product. And finally, we learned that for scalability, it was not good. Because at that time, what we have is Solr Sardine. Who knows Solr Sardine? OK, I'm feeling a bit old now. OK, no problem. It was something that was used for scalability, right? But it was a bit bad. So we designed a new architecture that is more or less the same. For searching, it's more or less the same. But now we introduce that messaging pipeline in the middle. So we introduce Kafka, ActiveMQ, whatever. So every time something is created, updated, deleted in the repository, then we capture this event, and we update the OpenSearch index, right? That is better in terms of, not only in terms of searchability, because now it's not, we don't need to wait 3 seconds to get the result. It's just not even a second, right? And also for the scalability, it's great, because we have all the messages, and we can have as more consumers as we want in order to update OpenSearch. And you know that OpenSearch also is scalable. So we remove also this problem from the equation. The mapping is also the same thing, right? We are relying on this kind of mechanism. And the main problem comes with the transforming. You see that transforming before the indexing. So we are able to index properties, metadata, values very fast. But what happens if we want to index a document, I don't know, 10 megabytes document? We need to take the document, to extract the text from the document, and then to store that into the Elasticsearch index. So this is why we split that. So you have the metadata very soon, and then you have the content a bit later, right? So this is how we solve that. In the end, that was only a sample I want to share with you, how to create or how we create something from the legacy systems. Likely you need to face some legacy system to something that is more modern. Obviously using containers and so on, so you can also just scale up every piece of the deployment, and you can get like more resources for it. And that was everything, I guess. Yeah, it's just your questions, if you have any.
Raise your hands. Okay.
Just don't talk about the past.
Oh, not.
No, I'm just joking, just joking.
No. So in 2005, you said you already had search, so were you using Lucene or something else?
We started with Lucene, and then we switched to Solr 1. Yeah, Lucene was even a nightmare. Yeah, it was.
Next question. Okay, great.
How did you move your Solr data to OpenSearch, the actual data itself?
Reindexing. So there is no migration, no upgrading. So we are just reindexing, but we have a specific process that is trying to reindex as fast as possible. So it's not using the same pattern, right? So we are just getting the information directly from the database, and then we can just populate the index. What we are doing is that we are able to support different searching engines at the same time. So the customer is still using Solr, and they are working as usual, and we are indexing the new index in parallel. So once it's done, we can just switch the search system, and it's fine. Just depending on the volume, it's more or less, we are talking about days.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who's, it's not a question to you, but for anyone who's looking at such migrations, but they don't have access to the source anymore. So one possible option would be there is this repository called Spark Solr. So what you can actually do is read the entire collection and create a data frame in Spark. And we also have an OpenSearch how to connect. So there's one possibility where you can actually read the entire data, create the data frame, a temporary data frame, and do any kind of transformation you want to do, and dump it back to OpenSearch. Yeah. But that's one possibility. Another possibility could also be reading the data. Creating the data frame and dumping it to, let's say, a file system in a Parquet format, because we have data prepper, which can read the Parquet format files. So that's another possibility. So you can dump it, use data prepper, read the Parquet, do whatever transformation you want to do, and dump it back to OpenSearch. So these are the two possibilities that I have explored and I've been advocating, especially for those people who do not have access to the historical data for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah. That's why I wanted to ask you. Reading from the source is always the best way to do it, but I also wanted to put it out there. If there is no possibility of that, you have these options.
Yeah, you are completely right. There are different options, and we are focused just on upgrading our users from the previous version to the new one. But that is something that I need to take note. Yes, for. Okay.
Okay, big applause.
Thanks.